unstoppable kick-ass confidence. Are you ready?
Welcome to the Raw and Unscripted show with Christopher Rausch, where we help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. Now please welcome our host, Christopher Rausch.
Hey everybody, this is Raw and Unscripted with yours truly, Christopher Rausch, your place to help you overcome your self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. And I'm glad you're here with us today because this is the first episode of what's going to be a long-running podcast with lots of bonus features and video footage afterwards. But the real reason why we're here today is we're here to talk about what it is that causes us to curl up in a corner and kind of let life pass us by. And I talk about a lot in life about whether it's we're a victim or a victor, or whether we're living or existing. And the purpose of this show is to really get to the heart of our past, our present, and our future, and especially our perceptions and our expectations about those so that we could truly live a kick-ass, unstoppable life. I'm known as the No Excuses Coach. So what you can expect to hear on this particular podcast is just the straight ahead truth. This is heartfelt truth that you need to hear. I'm often told that I say what other people think. And it's really important to do that because the truth will set you free, but it'll piss you off first. It's a meme that I put up yesterday on Facebook, I think. And it's something that we all need to hear. And as your host and as your guide through this process, we are going to uncover the truth, and we're going to change our perceptions and our perspectives about the past and the present and the future so that you can give it different meaning. Instead of sitting from a victim mindset and saying, oh, poor me, and these things happen to me, instead you're going to be able to reframe them and say they happened for me instead of to me. Now, my personal story, I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but today's show, we're just going to talk about the foundation of what Raw and Unscripted really is and how you, the listener, are going to value and benefit from our time together. And I'm pleased to have with me today my producer, Shane Schultz. And Shane Schultz, please introduce yourself to the audience and give a little bit of background on how we came to know each other and what your involvement is in this. And let's talk about the Speaking to the Heart radio network and the reason why I decided to join your crew.
Well, you know, it is awesome to be here. First of all, I got to tell you, I am more excited than anybody that's out there that this show is finally launching here on the Speaking of the Heart radio network. As you know, Chris, I'm a mental health advocate. In fact, you call me the godfather of mental health. The reason why I went to you in regards to the network is because my first time that I actually got to meet you was as the first episode on the Living the Dream with Travis Barton. Mm-hmm. And I knew that, you had made a big difference in Travis's life. And I really do respect Travis. And I respected you as I was learning more about you while we were shooting that particular episode. I also realized that we had a lot of different things in our life that were pretty similar. You had not so easy of a life when it came to your youth. You dealt with a lot of different challenges when it came to your mom and when it came to the local environment of the area. In fact, you had met, the barrel of a gun at one point in time, over a pack of cigarettes. And I can really relate to those things because I've put myself in positions as to where I found myself in those types of situations as well. I've gone through, I've lived at 8 homeless shelter stays. I've had 7 inpatient stays in the hospital because I was dealing with challenges and struggles of my mental health, whether it be, clinical depression, whether it be, codependency, whether it be my addiction, whether it be my PTSD. These things I've gone through throughout my life. In fact, as well that, the first time that I came to a suicidal situation was when I was 8 years old. And so with that being the case, I knew that, as I was learning more and more about you, that you were definitely going to benefit the audience, right? And so that episode, I was really looking forward to seeing jump off the charts, and it certainly did. But more importantly, we got to know each other after a while, and to be quite honest with you, I was really taken back that you were so receptive to me because I do have that situation with myself. I have abandonment issues, as to where thinking that approaching somebody, I'm always a little bit leery of that rejection. And you certainly didn't do that. In fact, you received me in a great way, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, Shane. I really appreciate it. And I appreciated your authenticity. I appreciated your passion for truly wanting to help the community and the community of listeners that you have. And I'm just sorry it's taken us this long to get here, but here we are, episode 1, and we're ready to rock it.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. So, I mean, you've told what your version is as to what it is that you're looking to do for the audience. Let me tell you what it is that I was looking for you to do with the audience, and that is to kick their damn ass. Straight up. I mean, I've got a lot of shows on the network now. I have over 10 shows that are running weekly right now. And I've got the shows that, attack from different angles, right? The Speaking the Heart Radio Network's all about restoring purpose and passion to empower somebody to be more than the challenges that they face, whether it be chronic pain, chronic illness, mental illness, maybe even life experiences that you've had, and you just can't let go. Well, I know a lot about that because I've gone through those types of things. I've gone through the resentment. I've gone through the anger. I've gone through that, that dreaded feeling when going through depression. And I know what it's like to, you had mentioned having the world just go by us. When I realized my purpose in life, which was in 2013, and that was to restore purpose and passion, but more importantly, it was to help others who are more like me than they are different be more than the challenges that they face. And that didn't come easy. That came from probably the bottom of my time, really. I was going through, the effects of a stroke. I had a stroke in 2012. I also just had recently lost my best friend to a rock climbing incident. It just seemed as if I had a relationship that went wrong. I lost my job. I lost my career, really, and I just had a whole lot of things that were going on. And I was finding myself just really in desperation. And when I realized from, finding out what my purpose in life was, and that was to help others, it made a big difference. And so when I decided to do the Speaking the Heart Radio Network, that's what is in mind, is to help that person that is more like me than they are different, to help them be more than the challenges that they face, to help them crash through the ceilings that they have created themselves to keep on banging their head on and keeping themselves from being able to live. Because when you're dealing with pain and when you're dealing with illness, it's really easy to adapt to what it is that you're going through, and not being able to make that move forward or not being able to reach outside of what it is that you're ailed by. So the network is all designed to empower people to be more than the challenges that they face so that they can be who it is that they're meant to be versus who they may merely exist to be.
Yeah. And I think that's a really crucial point, Shane, because like my tagline says, helping people overcome their self-created crap without the self-help fluffy bullshit. That is truly a statement that I have stood by for a number of years. And some people I get shit for it because people will sit there and say, what do you mean my self-created crap? My father did this to me, or my teacher did this to me, or my pastor did this to me, all these different things. And I sit there and tell them, they didn't do them to you necessarily. It's something that you have to reframe those situations and not be living in a world of excuses and blame. And that's one thing you're going to get with me on your show, or on the network at least, is the fact that we're going to go, I'm nicknamed the No Excuses Coach. So for you guys out there listening, this is tough love, but it's stuff that you're going to need to hear, because we all need to get out of that victim mindset and look at things as opportunities to heal and grow and become a better version of ourselves, because those situations happen to us. Now, I suffer with chronic pain. I'm actually going into surgery this coming Wednesday. So it's all a matter of going through this process together. And that's one of the things that, just for you guys listening, that Shane and I had talked about, is we've been trying to get this podcast launched off the ground, and my own perfectionistic ways and my own self-doubt, my own things that have crept up in my confidence have delayed the launch of this particular podcast and this movement, really. And somebody had asked me the other day, okay, what's going to be different about your show than all of the other podcasts out there? And it only took me a second to really think about it. Shane was like, okay, we're going to go through this process together. Most people start podcasts and start shows when they're high and everything's going great and they're just feeling, full of fire. But quite honestly, for you guys out there, I'm not exactly at my best. I was at my best a few years ago, and then I had to go through a lot of internal struggles and tribulations over the last 4 years, which I'm going to share with you. And the point of it is that there's going to be a lot of transparency. There's going to be a lot of vulnerability here of me sharing the things that I've struggled with. Now, I'm known as the kick-ass guy. I'm known as the master motivator. I'm known as the guy with always that energy, the guy that's always positive. But one thing I really want to do on this show is strip back that and let people know and come inside to my world and see what I really go through on a day-to-day basis, see how I overcome those challenges, and also share with you what happens to me when I don't overcome those challenges, when I sit there and I wallow in my self-pity, when I don't consider myself as confident as I normally do, when I sit there, why does anybody want to listen to me? I'm going to draw you guys into that. We're going to go through this process together. Case in point, like I said, I'm going into surgery this next Wednesday, January 16th. This particular show will probably air after that.
Yeah, perfect timing, by the way.
Yeah, but I want to take you guys on, for the people out there listening. I know that Shane has shows on there that deal with chronic pain. I've had back issues since 2006. I've done literally everything under the sun to try to mitigate that pain and prolong the fact that I need surgery. So I've decided to go ahead and do that, but I've decided to do this podcast at the same time so that I can show people how we deal with that. I'm getting a multiple disc fusion. I'm getting a laminectomy. So I'm going to be in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days. And I fully intend on doing podcasts during this process of healing to let you guys know what we can do together to become stronger. And that's just going to be a process that we're going to go through. And it's going to be about truly our perceptions and our perspectives about this. Now, I'll be completely honest with you, Shane. I am scared. I'm doubtful. I'm angry. I'm all these different emotions about having to have surgery because I've always said that I have 2 goals in life. 1, die without any regrets, and 2, stay the fuck out of a hospital, a hospital on my accord. So when I think about me being, I was telling my wife this last night, when I think about me being a patient in a hospital, actually sitting in a hospital bed in a hospital gown with the little clicker and the television, it freaks me out because I've always been the guy that goes to the hospital, that helps people. I'll share this story later on, but my mom was sick. I was in the hospital in and out for 2 years. So I got very familiar with doctors and nurses and protocols and all those different things. But the point is, I've always been the guy beside the bed, not the guy in the bed. So going in there on Wednesday morning at 5:30, and I'm supposed to have my surgery at 7:30. It's supposed to be 3 hours. And then after that, I'm going to wake up with a 9-inch gash in my back where they have put rods and screws and they've taken part of my spine out. It freaks me out, but I want you guys to come along on that journey with me because if you've been through those situations and it's hurt your confidence or it's hurt your self-esteem, we're going to rebuild that together. We're going to go through that process together. And I had to start changing my perspective about it myself. It's like, is this happening to me or is this happening for me? Yeah, there's going to be a lot more pain afterwards. And that's the thing that bugs me because I think of things as an investment. It's like, okay, wait a minute. I'm in pain now and it's inconvenient now. But to think that I'm going to come out of this surgery and I'm going to be in more pain, I'm going to have to do more rehabilitation, and it's going to be anywhere from 6 months to a year before I look back at this and say this was a great idea. So mentally, I've had to change everything about my perspective on this. And now I'm actually, I didn't make this up, but somebody had said that fear is also another word for excitement. Yeah. So for example, when I've gone on and spoken on stages in front of thousands of people, I'm generally not fearful. You get butterflies and things of that nature, but I can't remember who had said it. It says, take that fear and turn it into excitement. And so what I've done, Shane, and for you guys out there listening, this is a really great tip for you, is I'm looking at this as exciting. Like, okay, I get to be that patient. I get to go in there and I get to do the admitting. I get to go into the room. I get to go in and put the gown on and I get to feel what it's like to roll down the hallway and enter a room with a bunch of lights and a bunch of tools and sit there and think to myself, wow, when this is all over, I'm going to wake up in recovery and I'm going to have all these new parts of my body and I'm going to feel different. And I've really just looked at it as an exciting process. I get to find out what it's going to be like to have rehab, and I'm going to find out what it's like to, go through that, oh shit, what did I do to myself type of thing. And I just really encourage you guys out there, when you think about your past and your present and your future, don't look at it as an aspect of what's happened to you. It's happening for you. And when you look at that and you look at the opportunities to grow and become stronger, together we can make a difference. And that's really the point of this, Shane. I know I've gone a little bit on and on, but this is a movement. This is a family. This is a community that I want to create because there's so much turmoil and there's so much doubt and there's so much hate and there's so much fear going on in the world today. If you listen to the news and you listen to other people who are negative, you can sit there and think, why bother with anything? But truthfully, we need to all band together and create these communities of strength and leaning on each other and listening to each other and not allowing each other to sulk and be in pity parties. I mean, I always tell people, you get a pity party for one day. One day you get a pity party, you get to feel sorry for yourself, you get to stomp your feet, you get to eat a bowl of ice cream, you get to do whatever you want to do. But the next day you wake up and you ask yourself, am I part of the problem or am I part of the solution? And that's one thing I'm going to have to remember a lot during this process of healing and growing, is that this is something that's going to make me stronger. In a year from now or during this process, I know that I'm going to impart a lot of value to you guys listening, because I'm going to have to be congruent and I'm going to follow my own advice while I'm doing it. So I really encourage you guys to listen in. We're going to have a lot of special bonuses. We're going to have videos. We're going to have workshops, exercises, things of that nature. But really the point of it right now is that you have a home where you can have somebody that you can trust, that you can reach out to. We're going to have a private Facebook group for the listeners out there. So you guys are going to have an opportunity after the show to go in there and communicate with one another, build that community and build this movement so that we are truly all kick-ass, unstoppable people who do not sit there and look at ourselves as victims. We looked at ourselves as victors, and we're able to really, truly have an unstoppable life. And that's really the true goal of this show.
You know, it's funny. First of all, Rocky Balboa, talked about Frankie Fear.
Yeah, Rocky.
Right? Yeah, Rocky Balboa in I think it was number 5. And, and he was talking about Frankie Fear and about how, it's like this fire, it can either burn you up or it can rise you up, right? And, the logo of the Speaking the Heart Network is the Phoenix, right? And the Phoenix, at some point in time in its story, it realized that it was tired. It realized that it was torn. It realized that, it was worse for the wear. And so eventually it just said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And it clapped its wings together. And then all of a sudden it was reborn, right? And it started rising up from the ashes. Well, the whole idea of our logo is because we believe that something was spoken to the heart of that Phoenix. That something had to die in order to move on and in order to live and to be reborn. And so what we believe is it's all our hosts that are on the network are from our heart to yours, right? And that's exactly what Chris does. Chris brings it from his heart, no matter what. Will it go on? Will he be like raw and unscripted and cutting sometimes? Yeah, absolutely it will. But that's exactly the reason why it is that I want it. Because when you started talking about, you're fearful, right? You're fearful of what it is that you're going to be going through. You're fearful of hearing the doctors saying, well, the prognosis is this percentage or it's that percentage, or you hear other people who have had the exact same surgery that you're about ready to have. And, you're hearing things that aren't necessarily exactly what, it's not like a quick fix, right? Welcome to the chronic life, my friend. That's exactly what it is that our audience here goes through. Those people who deal with chronic pain and chronic illness, mental illness, this is stuff that they don't know what the hell's going to happen at any given point. And not only that, but, they're told a number of different things. And I can tell you this, it's not about people being lazy. It's not about people, kind of just like being uninspired or whatever the case may be. They want to be. They want to be. It's like I've gone to numerous health advocacy conferences, and I'm telling you, the people that I know that are health advocates and the people that go through these types of things, I know that they're special. I know that there's something amazing within them. And, it's like, it's just a matter of getting them to feel it again, right? It's just a matter of getting them to feel it again, as opposed to just merely existing in life. And so once we get them to feel it again, I know that that's going to make a difference, not only for themselves, but also for others who are like them and people around them. Because you also got to talk about the supporters, right? The supporters of people who go through these things, right? I mean, think about it. You're going under the knife in regards to back surgery. Who's your support staff, right? You've got your wife, you've got, your son Jackson. I mean, you've got a few friends and everything. You got the doctors and stuff like that, but they're going to be dealing with you, right? As you're going through what you're going through,
Oh,
And yeah, so, so when somebody's dealing with bipolar, when somebody's dealing with multiple sclerosis, when somebody's dealing with fibromyalgia, when somebody's dealing with clinical depression, it's like, there's no book on us, right? There's no book on saying, oh, well, when Chris has a back surgery, this is what it is that you want to do and what you don't want to do, right? One thing that I've noticed is that, our human nature is that we don't want people to fail or fall. I mean, think about it. If you have somebody trip and they fall into you, what happens? They automatically put their hand up to try to catch you, right? I mean, I've done it with like a broken arm. I've literally done that to try to do that. That's my instinct, right? Well, it's not necessarily that they're doing it just because they want to. It's because they feel they have to. And when they see people who are struggling and people who are, having the challenges that they have, they feel like they have to help. And I think that sometimes, and we can talk about this, at another time, I call it water on a grease fire. Sometimes what it is that we know to be the right thing isn't the right thing. And, and same thing goes vice versa. So when we're dealing with the challenges and struggles personally as a patient or going through those types of things, we think that we know exactly what it is that we need, when in fact we need the exact opposite. Sometimes we need to get our ass kicked. Sometimes we need to get, all that existential bullshit that I talk about out of the way so that we can get to the core of the problem. And that is what Raw and Unscripted is all about.
Very true, Shane. And thank you for sharing that, because it really is. I mean, one of the things I really want to impart on the listener is the core of what this is about. And it's something that I created a while back. And it just really talks about the fact that when we're 0 to 5 years old, that's who we're going to become. That is really truthfully the adult we become. Is by the time we're about 5 years old, we have amassed so much knowledge and so many feelings and so many perceptions about things that from that point on, and you can check this out, this is psychologically proved. From that point on, we go out in the rest of our life and we look for validation to prove those agreements right. And if you guys have ever read the book, The 4 Agreements, I highly recommend you to read it dozens of times. I read it probably once or twice a year because it's so simple yet so super effective, that the fact that we go through that conditioning, and that conditioning creates our belief. And then from our belief, that creates our attitude. Our attitude really shapes how we feel. And then from our feelings, that creates our actions. So if we've gone through traumatic experiences and fucked up experiences from when we were kids and we're hanging on to those and we're blaming other people for those things, we truly have to go back and change. Like I said before, we have to change our perception about those situations, which will therefore change our belief, which will therefore change our attitude, which will therefore change our actions. And the point of this is to get you guys off your ass and to stop complaining and to stop bitching about things that are happening for you, and to really reshape those fundamental beliefs, because then your actions are going to totally follow suit. If you get what I'm saying. Because if we sit there in a victim mindset, I mean, just an example, when you think about when we're kids, what are we told? We're told about Santa Claus. We're told about the Tooth Fairy. We're told about the Easter Bunny. Just 3 examples that we're told to, and then we're all of a sudden told, oh, those aren't really true. Sorry about that. We kind of lied. And then what happens? We start, kids, I think the show is what kids say the damnedest things, right? Because kids don't know to have a filter. So what happens? Kids are honest. Oh my God, why is that lady so fat? Oh, why does he have all those things all over his face? And then our parents and our teachers and society tell us, oh, wait, don't tell the truth.
I know one time that happened with me.
So, yeah, you got to tell a little white lie. So here we are, these little malleable little brains and these little egos and these little souls. We're told lies, and then we're told, oh yeah, that's okay. But then we're told to lie and not tell people the truth. And this is all before 5 years old. So we have to undo a lot of that shit. And that's what we're going to do on the show, is we're going to sit there and we're going to talk about that. And that's why I really want you guys to interact with me, whether it's on social, especially in the private Facebook community. I want to be a resource for you guys to have a sounding board. I'm not saying I can solve all your problems. I'm not saying I can get back to everybody. But truthfully, what I want to do is be able to take those questions and that feedback and incorporate that into the show, so that real time, if you have questions and you have situations that you want to share, you can actually go onto the Facebook group, you can private message me, and we can talk about that. And I can give you feedback so that you can be able to change the situation that you're in, so that you can start shaping those beliefs, start changing those perspectives and those attitudes. And a lot of that is going to involve tough love. And a lot of that's going to involve tough decisions and sacrifices that you're going to have to make that are not going to be easy. You're not going to get where you want to go by what you've done to get where you're at. And that's really the truth. And that's why we talk about the self-created crap, because we create this own minutia in our brains about how life really is, when in actuality, if we go talk to the other people and we actually seek to understand first rather than trying to be understood, which is half of our battle,
validation.
Then we're not going to actually truly have that congruent, authentic self-confidence. And that's really what this show is about. It's about to create that unstoppable belief in yourself that no matter what comes your way, you're going to be able to overcome it. You're going to be able to look for the value in the growth experiences, and you're going to come out of it, like Shane just said, like a phoenix rising. And that doesn't happen until you accept responsibility. Like I said, I'm the guy that's going to tell you what you need to hear, and you have to accept responsibility for your role and your actions and the things you're focusing on. When I rode motorcycles, when I went through the training, I learned a very important aspect, a very important truth that really lends itself into life. Where you focus on is where you're going to go. So as a motorcycle rider, if you're looking to the left, your motorcycle is going to go to the left. If you're looking to the right, if you're staring at a tree, which is my case before my accident, I was staring at a tree instead of staring at the road, and subsequently wound up going off the side of Ortega Highway and crashing and having all these things. So one of the tips that I'm going to give you right now is look to where you want to go, not where you've been. And a lot of us spend a lot of time in the past. And then, truthfully, what is the past? The past is electrical energy in our brain. And it's our made-up story. It's our story. It's not even the truth. And I always tell people, they say this, there's two sides to the truth. There's actually three sides to the truth. There's your side, my side, and probably the real side.
Right.
So what we're going to do on this show is we're going to get to the heart of those things, and I'm going to punch you in the gut, kick you in the balls, whatever it takes for you to kind of realize and snap out of it and say, okay, is there some truth or validity in the things that people have given me feedback on? Yes or no? And being able to suck it up and say, okay, why do I need to learn that? What do I need to get out of this? And how can I grow from that so that I can truly have the life I want? And that's really a lot of the goal of here. We're going to talk about your different emotions. We're going to talk about fear. We're going to talk about uncertainty. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about thinking with the end in mind. We're going to talk about goal setting. We're going to talk about business relationships. We're going to talk about assumptions. We're going to talk about every aspect of personal development that's designed to get you guys to really think about your life and your day every single day differently. And that's really the point of the impact that I want to have. I want to create that back and forth communication with you guys. I want to create that solidarity, that community, a place where you can go where you know that you're going to hear the truth. Because when we talk about friends, I was just talking with somebody about this the other day, Shane, and they said, oh, that's my best friend. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted on Facebook and I said, you know, as a friend, do you tell your friends the truth? Like if you see somebody doing something stupid, do you sit there and say, hey, by the way, you're doing something stupid, or you just sit there and ignore it? And well, they haven't asked me or anything. True friends, that's what they have to do. They have to tell you the truth. They have to tell you when you're fucking up. So when you think about your friends, are they really being there for you? And that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be that professional best friend that's going to be like, no. You got to accept responsibility for that. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to let you guys into my life. I'm going to let you in and to all my vulnerabilities. Like I said, the last 4 years have been a shit show. My life is amazing. I have an amazing son. I have an amazing life. But truth be told, being on the pain medicine has caused me to be negative. And then I got into this vicious cycle. And I talk about vicious cycles versus positive cycles. And we could easily get into those things. Oh yeah, nobody wants to listen to what I'm saying. I don't really need to do anything. Why am I doing this? I should just shut up. Oh yeah, poor me, life sucks. And we're going to change those cycles around. And it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be starting with that ownership and that responsibility. And the biggest thing is that you got to have the right people in your life to help you succeed in that. If you have negative people that are telling you, oh, that's stupid, you shouldn't be trying to become better, or that's stupid, you're trying to grow and become smarter, those are the wrong people for you. We're going to talk about that, the tough decisions that you have to make. We're going to talk about the different habits and routines you have to make. You start off slow. I call it the 1% rule. If you take 1% action every single day to improve yourself, to look at something different, to educate yourself, to become better and greater as a solution, as a positive aspect in the world, you're going to see your self-confidence starting to rise. And you're going to see the fact that you're not going to tolerate the other people, the toxic people in your life that are holding you back, that are telling you, no, you've got this and you've got that, and you take pills for this, and no, you should just take it easy. You should just live within your means. Those aren't the people you want in your life. And this is the show for you that's going to be that conduit so you can gain that true self-confidence, because I'm going to go along with it with you. I'm going to climb out of this funk that I've been in for the last 4 years. Truth be told, I was speaking with Les Brown. Les Brown, if you guys don't know him, Google him. Amazing guy. I had Les Brown tell me to my face, I will put you on my stage, but I can't do this kick-ass thing. I can't do this bandana thing. I can't do the tie thing. He told me, I actually have it on recording. I'm not going to produce it, but I actually have it on recording where he said I could put you on stages. I had my radio show. Before I did this podcast, I did the Kick-Ass radio show where every week for 2.5 years, I had a guest on where we talked about the 5 tips that you can implement in your life to have a truly kick-ass life. I did that. I was speaking. I was traveling. I was doing all these things. I had a live event, and then something changed. And I'll share that with you guys later because my confidence got rocked. My ego got rocked. And then from that point on, I started in this slow, vicious cycle of spiraling down when I am meant for greatness. I am meant to be out here in front of the public. I'm meant to share my story. The one thing in my life that I want to be known for is that I made an impact for the people who were in my world and mostly for my son, Jackson. And that's really the premise of what this show is. So I want you guys to tune in every week, have a pen and paper ready, and just be willing to consider alternatives. Shane.
I can't say anything more. I've been telling them. Listen, folks, this show is going to get to the core of the problem. You're not always going to like them. You're not always going to love them. But I'll tell you, there's going to be a point in time as we're going to realize that he's helping you. And that's a whole damn plan, is to help you be more than the challenges that you face. And I know damn well that Raw and Unscripted with Christopher Rausch, my good buddy who I've known for quite a while now, and he's helped me a great deal in my own things that I've gone through. I know that he's going to do that. So let's get going. Let's rock and roll. Let's get it to the point as to where now it's time to make a difference.